Imagine a young soldier, only in his 30s, standing boldly in front of the world's most powerful nations, declaring, Africa will no longer be a slave to colonial masters. Burkina Faso will decide its own destiny. This is not a movie scene. This is reality. This is the story of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the youngest president in the world today, and his fearless plan to break free from neocolonialism, the hidden chains that have kept Africa dependent for decades. In today's video, we are going to uncover how Traore rose to power as a symbol of resistance, the tactics he is using to challenge Western dominance, his vision for a truly independent Africa, and why his leadership is shaking the foundations of neo-colonial control. Stay with me till the end, because this story is not just about Burkina Faso, it's about the future of all of Africa. To understand Ibrahim Traore's mission, we first need to understand the enemy he is fighting, neocolonialism. Even after independence in the 1960s, many African countries remained economically and politically tied to their former colonizers. For Burkina Faso and much of West Africa, that power came from France. The CFA franc, a currency controlled from Paris, dictated how African nations could spend and save. French companies dominated resources like gold, uranium, and agriculture, while local populations remained poor. Military bases were stationed across the region, ensuring French influence in African politics. This system created what Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah once called the last stage of imperialism. Africa was free on paper, but still under control. And for decades, few leaders dared to challenge this system directly. Until now, Ibrahim Traore was not born into power or privilege. He was a soldier, a young captain in the Burkina Faso army. His nation was struggling with poverty, corruption, and a rising wave of terrorism that had displaced nearly 2 million people. In 2022, frustrated by the failures of previous governments, Traore led a popular coup d'état. But unlike many coup leaders in Africa, he didn't come with greed or personal ambition. He came with a vision to finish the mission that Burkina Faso's revolutionary hero Thomas Sankara had started in the 1980s. Sankara, often called Africa's Che Guevara, was assassinated after he tried to break free from French control. Now, decades later, Traore is picking up that torch. One of Traore's boldest moves is his economic independence strategy. He has openly criticized the CFA franc, calling it a tool of oppression. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso is pushing for monetary sovereignty, moving towards a new African-controlled currency. He has begun strengthening economic ties with non-Western nations such as Russia, Turkey, and China, diversifying Burkina Faso's partnerships. The government is reclaiming control over gold mining contracts, demanding a fairer share of profits for the Burkinabe people. By doing this, Traore is sending a strong message. Burkina Faso will not remain a financial colony of France. Another pillar of Traore's plan is military independence. For years, Burkina Faso hosted French troops under the guise of anti-terrorism operations. Yet terrorism only grew worse. Traore took a bold step. He ordered French forces to leave the country. He made it clear that Burkina Faso would fight its own battles, on its own soil. Instead, he has called on African unity, proposing joint defense pacts between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, all countries that recently rejected French military presence. This alliance, often called the Alliance of Sahel States, is reshaping the balance of power in West Africa. For the first time, African nations are saying, we will protect ourselves. One of the most silent weapons of neocolonialism is food dependency. Many African nations import wheat, rice, and even basic vegetables, despite having fertile land. Traore is reviving Sankara's dream of food sovereignty. He has launched large-scale agricultural initiatives to increase local food production, encouraged farmers to grow staples like maize, millet, and sorghum, invested in irrigation projects to fight drought and ensure year-round farming. His goal is simple. Burkina Faso must feed itself, so no foreign power can starve it into submission. Perhaps the most powerful part of Traore's vision is his call for African unity. At international forums, he has said clearly, if Africa does not unite, it will remain weak. He has openly supported the idea of a United States of Africa, inspired by leaders like Kwame Nkrumah and Muammar Gaddafi. He is working closely with other young African leaders who share the same anti-neocolonial stance. He believes that only a united Africa can negotiate fairly with global powers, defend its resources, and build prosperity for its people. This makes him not just a national leader, but a continental voice for freedom. Traore understands that breaking free from neocolonialism is not just about politics and economics. It is also about changing the mindset of the youth. He has launched programs to inspire patriotism and pride in African identity, invest in schools and technical training centers, encourage young people to see themselves not as victims, but as the builders of a new Africa. This is crucial because the youth make up more than 60% of Africa's population. And Traore himself, at just 36 years old, is a living symbol that young Africans can lead. Of course, such bold moves do not come without consequences. Western powers have reacted with concern, even hostility. Some Western media portray Traore as a radical or authoritarian. Economic sanctions have been threatened. There are fears of covert attempts to destabilize his government. But Traore remains undeterred. In his speeches, he often says, "We have chosen to be free, even if it costs us everything." His courage is inspiring millions across Africa who are tired of exploitation. While his vision is powerful, the road is not easy. Burkina Faso still faces a violent insurgency from terrorist groups, economic hardships caused by years of dependence, pressure from powerful nations who want to maintain control. But despite these challenges, Traore's leadership has given Burkina Faso something priceless: hope. Ibrahim Traore's plan to break free from neocolonialism is more than a political strategy. It is a revolution of the mind, the economy, and the future. Just like Thomas Sankara inspired a generation in the 1980s, Traore is now carrying the torch for a new generation in the 21st century. Burkina Faso, once seen as a small, poor nation, is now becoming the heartbeat of African resistance. And as Traore himself says, "Our people have suffered enough. We must take back our destiny, with dignity and with courage." Globe showing Europe Africa whether he succeeds or not. One thing is certain: Ibrahim Traore has ignited a fire that will continue to burn across Africa. Sparkles, that's the story of Ibrahim Traore's bold plan to break free from neocolonialism. If you believe Africa deserves freedom and dignity, don't forget to like this video, share it widely, and subscribe for more stories that mainstream media won't tell you.